26th, January 20, Harbor Commission meeting to order. With the approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
Everyone in favor?
Aye.
We're gonna go to the election of the officers instead of the public comments first. We'll change the agenda.
Okay.
You as the chair. Do you accept?
I'll accept it.
Okay.
Who's the current chair and vice chair?
Him and I.
Revice.
Yeah, I'm good with that. If somebody, if they want to keep
I
it, you guys.
would make, if we can, I'd make a motion to nominate the existing slate of officers.
I would second that.
Everyone in favor?
Aye.
And recording secretary Kelly.
I learned that in JC's.
We can move on to public comments.
So who was second on that one? Jeff and Tom? Okay,
No. Oh, wait a second, yes.
okay. And then
Twice.
you were second on it?
For what?
No, no.
I made the motion, Tom seconded it.
Okay, and then everybody agreed?
Yes.
Okay.
Unanimous with a little hesitation.
Okay.
Move on to the public comments. I don't see anyone. So we can move on to the approval of the minutes for the October 28th meeting, 2025. We've all looked at them.
I'll make a motion to approve those.
And I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Moving to our unfinished business then, the 9th Street Boat Launch Committee recap. I know,
I was out of town during that meeting
Yeah, I
and,
didn't. I don't think I went to it either.
oh,
Anybody go to it?
I did.
Okay. How was it?
There was nobody from the Harbor Commission there, but the Parks Commission representatives were there. So just discussed the layout that I had penciled in over the aerial. There was some just good discussion about it, honestly. Those that were present were in favor of kind of formalizing that plan. There was some suggestions to put some shade structures in and maybe a covered area next to or adjacent to the bathroom facility. The city manager's been working, our city staff has been working on the property conversion from the sale of the small strip of land around Fricano's. If you recall,
right,
that was city marina property technically and acquired as part of a previous state grant. So the city needs to replace that property with something that's more valuable, that's dedicated as
public use.
parks land. And if we don't do that, then we get a deduction on our points when we apply for DNR grants in the future. So one of the sites that was selected and is going to be explored is next to 9th Street Boat Launch, the actual right-of-way of 9th Street that goes to the water's edge. And potentially, so the city's gonna explore whether or not that would qualify, whether or not the Park Service, National Park Service would accept that. It's already publicly owned, right? But it's not parkland. So this could put some restrictions on it that makes it parkland. And then at the committee level, it was discussed possibly or exploring whether or not the boat launch could be relocated to right at the end of that 9th Street right-of-way, which would serve two purposes. Then it would be an improvement to that right-of-way and would further the conversion. But more importantly, they wanted a swim area. And the swim area obviously should be separated from other uses like boats. Right now, the kids in the neighborhood swim right around the boat launch ramp. And so the discussion was, it would likely be easier to improve a boat launch and get it permitted than a swimming area. And so maybe keep the swimming area kind of where the existing boat launch is. So
Makes good sense.
tomorrow I'm gonna meet with engineers from the Spicer Group, share those comments, share the sketch, they already have the sketch that I've done, but have them just kind of draw it up so we've got a picture. And then my thought would be to kind of share that with the committee again. Is this kind of a concept that we can move forward with? It doesn't have to be the final plan, but the step would be to have something visual that we can all look at, right? And see all the elements that are in it. And then we can start looking at what it would cost to do those individual elements.
Right.
What type of funding could be available for them.
We can find money.
Right, and then I think the Harbor, you know, once that work is done, the Harbor Commission and the Parks Commission could independently either recommend that or not, or, but if it gets in the capital improvement plan, then we can proceed with trying to find funding and budgeting and so forth.
Neat. Is there a spot we can see that overview or a tentative plan or something?
The sketch that I
Sketch?
had prepared, we sent PDFs to everybody. You should have got that before.
This was a while ago. That was a while ago,
Yeah,
though.
it was
It
probably
wasn't
2-3
really.
months ago.
Via emails?
I think we sent, did you send that out?
I think we did through through email.
Yeah.
Could-
We can
could
send
you
it
send it
again.
again?
Yeah, we can send
Please.
it. And I just took an aerial,
Just
and
curious.
just some onion skin tracing paper,
Yeah.
just penciled on it, and then had Spicer just scan that in, but yeah, we can send that back out.
Are we still targeting the free usage area, even with the improvements?
That hasn't been discussed.
You think it's feasible?
Well, I think that, I've stated this in the past, if the parks in general, so that site in general, I don't think should have a fee for use, it's a public use. But boat launches are a little bit different, and to me, that's a pay to use. And right now, the community really loves it because it's the free site. But I
Right.
think if we invest a lot of money and we get grant money towards it, then I think it justifies it. Not to necessarily to pay for, you know, the improvement, but to pay for the future
The
upkeep. and
future
maintenance.
endowment of it, yeah. Mhm. Makes sense.
So it would probably need to be on the same, right now they're all interchangeable. If you have a pass, you have a pass.
Right.
So it would cost the same as the others.
I think that's what this group would have to determine, but that would seem reasonable.
It's a thought.
Not for parking, but for boat launching, yeah.
Yeah.
Not for day use, but.
Just launching, yeah.
I think that's absolutely reasonable.
It's something I thought of, and it doesn't have to go in with this, but, and I know sometimes they disappear, but it would be good to have a life ring down there. If we could do that in the meanwhile.
Or the,
Kids do swim there, and
or the same sort of loan, the life jacket loaning thing that we have at
Beaches.
the beaches. Idea.
I was thinking about the throwable on a rope, but,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there was extensive discussion with the fire department, police department, and our insurance, on the life rings and, well, you know, the benefit versus the liability and the maintenance.
does that
So
incur liability if you have a life ring there?
I believe you do if you put life rings out, but they're not there when you have an event, then you can incur some liability.
Yeah.
We did put, I don't know, 4 or 5 out on the piers, on the South Breakwater and the North
Right.
Pier.
Yeah. We could simultaneously post no swimming and a life ring.
Well,
Maybe incur no
yeah, I think that's all-
liability.
Certainly, that's all open for discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, I do see kids, I boat over there sometimes, and I see kids swimming there a fair amount from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It'd be tragic if we lost somebody. And it's
Pretty good
immediately deep water.
It's deep.
Pretty good drop off right there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's,
Very
Quick.
yes.
Was there any discussion about the kayak kiosk?
That's one of the elements that's on the site plan.
Just curious.
Mhm. So there's a couple items on that. I don't know if all of you remember, but there's a couple companies that have for lack of a better term, cages. And they're, they communicate cellularly, so you get an app on your phone. The company will stock them with kayaks, and you go on your app and you say, I want to rent a kayak for 4 hours. It charges you, and then opens up that rack for you. You have a kayak, a paddle, life jacket. You rent it, and when you put it back in, you take a picture, I believe, send it back, and there's a cost sharing on that. The city would pay up front for it, but then we receive a percentage of the revenues moving forward. But it's a way that, or it could be a way that people could rent a kayak and, not have to lug it around, haul it around, or have the expense. And you can either do, I think it's 6 bays, if you will, or cells per structure. You can have them at different locations. You could add more than one. There's also been some conversation over the years at the Harbor Commission level about having something like that anybody could rent, almost like a slip. So you could bring your own kayak and store it in that, and so you don't have to transport it back and forth, kind of like dry storage.
Yeah, it's a neat
Good
idea.
idea.
So on that conceptual plan, I put a little square for that.
Potential, yeah.
But that's something that could be looked at.
I had thought about that in terms of not as elaborate as a storage bay, but just the framework. Throw your kayak on there and lock it.
Right.
But have a decal allowing you to do that you pay minimally for. And then you only have to haul your life vest and
Right.
paddles.
Paddles.
It's something you could probably pretty easily construct.
I would think, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Be a pretty nice facility,
Yeah.
well-deserved area for it.
I'm amazed at how expensive those, that assist system is up on Portage Lake costs. And
The launching?
Further north, yeah.
The ADA launching system?
Yeah, that looks slick. I haven't seen someone actually use it. I've looked at it, but boy, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have one of those over at Arthur Street? No?
We do not.
No.
We don't have one in the city.
No, but for decades, I will say that's been something that the community and different commissions have talked about, is having an accessible kayak launch. At Arthur Street, when we were I was the city's engineer at the time, but when we laid out the improvements at Arthur Street, there just wasn't enough space between the launch and the fishing pier to put in another facility without conflict. That's why we put the fishing pier at one end and the boat launch at the other, honestly. There's been discussion over the years about having one at Man-Made Lake. And then obviously 9th Street has always been discussed as well.
If you want to see one up at,
Necoma. Well, Necoma has one.
Yeah.
yes,
The DNR
Yeah, on the
launch,
north side.
state launch, yep.
and up further north too. Over this side of Frankfurt.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it, but the kayak rental kiosk, there's one in Arcadia.
There is, okay. Would you pick that up and store it indoors in the off-season or?
So I can't remember the name of the company, but the company that we had been working with and exploring it, because this came up at a Parks Commission meeting, actually. So I went online, found their company, found out that they do this across the United States. And they have 100% maintenance of that unit. So they will find somebody near the community that will be responsible for all maintenance, replacement, and kind of monitoring it. And so they would take those and store them. They will actually, say Wes is that person in the community. Wes would go purchase 12 kayaks, paddles, life jackets, put them in there. He gets paid by that company. And then there's an option when you return it and you say, my paddle broke. You can report that, and then you would be responsible for going and replacing that paddle and kind of performing that maintenance. So when I looked at it, I thought it had, depending on the usage, but maybe a 5 to 6 year payback to the community for its investment. It actually could be a revenue source and a pretty neat amenity to the community. We were close to doing a kind of a trying one out, but there wasn't money budgeted for it at the time, so we kind of need to just vet this out. But I think you try one, and then you could put one at. I was thinking you could put one at First Street Boat Launch, Arthur Street here. The company recommended don't putting it by real close to the Great Lakes because the conditions aren't as nice,
Yeah.
and it could be dangerous. So when we were looking at the aerials of the city, they said Arthur Street or 9th Street would
Ninth Street,
be much
yeah.
better.
I'd have a hard time supporting that at First Street. I just think the traffic coming in and out of there and the way the winds pick up,
Yeah.
and the boats that I'd be very cautious having.
Yeah, it's not a good place to start out,
An
really.
experienced kayaker, that would concern me.
Well, standing on that slippery slope in the water, gliding in and out of the kayak is treacherous too.
Yeah, we actually broom that
Oh,
almost every week or two, but that
you're
algae
all
grows.
over that. You try. I know. I see it.
Algae grows pretty fast.
It does, especially as it gets warmer.
Newer ramps are typically grooved, so you resist that a little bit more, but yeah, that was built in the 70s.
Looking forward, it's very good. I'm sure we don't have a time frame, but it could be within 5 years? 3 years, 2 years?
Depends.
Depends on-
First you gotta have a concept,
Right,
then you gotta make sure that you have community support for it.
yep,
And then you can prioritize what elements to fund and seek, grants and that sort of thing, so, within a couple of years, you could start
that'd be pretty
start
neat.
some of it, and
Yeah.
then sometimes it takes
17
forever.
17,
Sometimes it takes longer.
like the band show. I remember your comment on that. No, I think it's gonna be moving along pretty quickly there. It's got a lot of support, I can see. Next up would be the No Wake Zone Committee recommendations on Manistee Lake, which we started in October. I know the committee met with, was it Tom, Wes, and Jeff?
Want to speak, you want me to?
Go ahead.
Yep, we met and really came up with, it was a very good discussion. Definitely some differing views when we started the meeting. I think by the end of it, we were all pretty in agreement. Kind of a three-pronged approach. The first approach would be to approach, or the first facet would be to approach the law enforcement, the sheriff's department, and ask for just some increased patrol presence there. In conjunction with that, we would put the city, correct, would put up some no wake zone signs
At Arthur Street.
at Arthur Street, which is probably a good idea anyway, because we've all launched there, and
Sure.
that gets pretty hairy. Then, again, kind of like I hate to say progressive discipline, but instead of doing everything at once,
Right.
this, and this, let's get a hold of the sheriff's department. And, in the same token, we've had good interaction with the charter boat captains.
Yep.
And, speak with them a little bit more and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do first is just signage and step up enforcement and ask you to, hey, take it easy, maybe get on the gas a little bit later.
Give everybody,
Yep, kind of the gentleman's
Heads up.
agreement, once you get past maybe the boat launch. Because again, launching boats in and out of there, we've all experienced
Sure.
some of the wake there. So ask for some more enforcement, or at least attention, I hate to say enforcement, attention, presence, law enforcement presence, the signage all at once. And then the third prong would be to proceed with actually getting buoyage, and there's two parallel paths we can go. One the city does, and one the actual business does. And Jeff probably has a little bit better handle on on the differences, but one is obviously, I think, a state process, which the city would go through pretty detailed. I mean, there's studies, it's not a quick thing at all.
That was the handout that we got, yeah.
We had two handouts, yeah, the handouts
Yes.
kind of listed them both.
Yep.
And then the other one is, fairly simple for the business owner to do.
Mm-hmm.
And also, with our signage, we also encourage the business owners to put up, no wake signs, at least for awareness. I think most boaters, when they see no wake, they're like, oh, yeah, boy, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, there is docks, there is boats here.
Sure.
And hopefully that we gain voluntary compliance without having to do buoys, without having to do, because
Actual law that says no wake
Right.
here.
well, and it just taxes the already limited resources of the sheriff's department. even
Correct.
more. The city doesn't have a police boat, unless I do retire soon. No. The state is out once in a while, the GNR is out, but again, we got lots of good lots of areas for them to work, to have a presence at. We'd hope that our little neck of the woods, at Arthur Street would gain voluntary compliance without having to have a bunch of tickets and enforcement.
It sounds like a good idea to start with. I would think that's the way to go.
Well, just to further on that, I thought there was really good discussion at our last meeting about that between the charter boat captains, the property owners, and then the commission. And there's already existing laws that if you create a wake and you create a hazard or a dangerous situation, that's technically illegal.
You
So,
can be, yeah.
number one, reaching out to the sheriff and saying, we've got some concerns. Can you help us educate, those charter boats? The charter boats aren't gonna wanna get a ticket. They're not gonna wanna get pulled over.
Waste of time.
All the reasons
exactly.
why they're powering up across that lake are the reasons why they don't wanna slow down to
Correct.
deal with enforcement. So, a little bit of education, a little bit of awareness. The second thing is, if the condo owners, the Wander Inn, if any of those property owners wanted to put out, buoys, then that's a separate process that they can take through the, federal government. And our committee discussion was that we would support them if they chose to do that. And then the third is, if those just don't work, then we
Go through the process.
the DNR process of legally creating a no-wake zone. But the enforcement goes right back to step one, right? So,
It looks like that DNR process takes about a year. It looked like it was, by the time you,
But at least.
I don't remember the timeframe.
not really, but it looked
I
like
can
by the
see it.
time you apply and they do the study and it's a time, and of course you got some short window of time made of what, October, when you're gonna check it. I think that's probably the best approach for this coming season. And do we need a motion of support for that, maybe? Or,
I think it would be appropriate for the commission to make if the notes from that committee meeting are in your packet, so
right,
in the three-step layered approach, I think it would be appropriate for us to either support that as a commission or not.
I'll make that motion to support the three-step layered approach that the Harbor Commission No Wake Committee came up with on January 6th, and support that to the council.
I second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Nope. Good. Then we're gonna move on to the 2026 boating season. We've got DACWA, potential full-time manager and/or harbor master or employees, and then the staff. Well, Katie sent me an email about staffing and trying to get more people or potentially a full-timer in there if possible. She said that's the challenge every year. And I know she said DACWA was signed up again, and we've got a new representative for Michigan, a full-time rep for all of Michigan harbors now that are signed up with DACWA to help out. And he upgraded our site with our anemones, and she wants to use the fueling and the advertising for that, so we can get that out there, so our fuel prices are known to everybody out there.
I think that's the number one call that they
Yeah.
get at the marina
Yeah.
is what's your
What does
current
it cost?
prices
Right.
for fuel.
I know he's been in touch with her, and I think they can work together to get that all set up. Take as much advantage as we can with it. And, he sent me a bunch of things. We've got the Century, and then there's a Grand Rapids Boat Club coming in June, is it?
Yeah, she's been getting a lot of phone calls.
Yeah.
Really?
For boat slip rentals.
Okay.
They're bringing 15, 20 boats or something like that for a 2-day event.
That's outside of that 100-year event later in the summer?
Yeah, this is from Grand Rapids, some boat club.
Cool.
I guess what is she, you talk about a full-time manager, is that adding an FTE or what, I guess what are we asking or what are we looking at or thinking about there? Just that that there's a need for a full-time manager?
That's what we were talking about the other meeting, just to get someone there so there's always coverage. Even when, because I know she said at the beginning and the end of the year, it's the toughest part. And then during the season too, I'm sure.
Do we, is that budgeted as she's partly on
So-
payroll and part on?
So if you remember, we had Laura that managed the marina for a number of years.
In 23, yeah,
Yeah, she was a paid part-time or seasonal employee.
part-time, full-time, so to speak.
Well, she worked 40 hours a week,
Yeah.
but she was a seasonal employee.
Mhm.
And then she kind of retired from it. At the same time, we were replacing the Kathy Boyle's position, and Katie had managed marinas in the past, and so I said, well, maybe this would be a solution for that, if you're interested. So she's compensated, part of her salary is compensated from the marina fund, for her to manage the marina. So, I mean, that could be looked at again. I haven't had any discussions with her on that specifically.
Thanks.
But the challenge is, it's always been there, it always will. I had the same thing with the 11 parks employees that we hire seasonally. They're getting out of, most of them are getting out of school, either college or high school, end of May, and we need somebody early, and then they all leave right towards the end of August, and the summer's not over yet,
No.
right?
Especially not last year.
Yeah,
And, we've got to look at competitive wages, I'm trying to think, the minimum wage is higher than what we were paying those summer employees last year as starting, so those wages are gonna have to go up.
the Princess, she's coming back,
I haven't heard
yeah.
anything to the contrary.
He didn't keep it in the river this year because of ice, or what?
I think that when Al was operating that, it was his desire not to relocate it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he was trying to bubble it, and I think he kept it one winter a
Yeah.
year. I think now that his son is operating it,
It's got
they
different-
take it down to Grand Haven and dry dock it.
Yeah,
And I had heard, nothing official, but I had heard that the Wander Inn had extended their pier out to 80 feet and revised their permits and constructed it. And I was believing that it was to put the Princess there, but I haven't heard anything on that in quite a while.
There was talk of them moving there.
that was early in the year last year.
Yeah, but I don't know.
That introduces two bridges to their trip, quite a bit to their trip.
Seems more convenient at the marina
Yeah, I don't know.
for customers and just, the ambience of being in the city and all. And to deal with 31.
The bridge would have to go up, yeah. Which I think adds to your experience.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
that's the traffic snarl experience too. I saw where you're going with that.
Yeah.
That's the experience, all right.
I will note that the Cedar Street Marina has new ownership
Yeah,
and renamed, I saw
sunrise?
Sun something.
Yeah.
And may have adjusted their rates because everybody that was seasonal there has called Katie asking for seasonal rates for the city marina. So
Oh, no kidding.
there may be some shuffling around. I don't know.
I know they intend to do some rehabilitation down on the pier.
It's rather rough down there.
Yeah.
Sunny Harbor Marina.
Sun Harbor?
Yeah, Wayne and I went down there with the, when we were looking at the wake thing, and they were rather rickety, let's put it that way. To say the least.
They think they could even almost turn that little building into a condo down there. Apparently, there's plumbing.
How many, we go from the bridge all the way to, with our dockage,
For what?
the marina,
To the end of the park.
to the end of the,
The marina, yeah, it goes
to where the
from
Coast Guard boats are.
Right.
yes, Spruce Street to Maple Street Bridge.
And we have, how many, 40, 47, and 12 seasonals?
There's 37 perpendicular slips, one of them which is kind of used up by the gas stock, and then I don't recall how many broadside are along the Riverwalk.
Yeah,
It really varies by the size.
The length, yeah. Right.
nice. Well, it looks like it should be a good season coming up. We'll be ready for it.
Did we have the final numbers at our last meeting from the boat launch?
No, that's why I gave that to you.
Yeah.
I was able to update it.
Yeah,
Every time you update them, they get better, so.
do. That's an
That's
impressive
a-
jump,
Yeah, that's an outstanding season.
Mhm. It's our best.
Outstanding.
Recorded here.
And we won't have to raise the rates.
Right. And we don't have a member who wants to drop them any longer.
I was gonna say, yeah, that could be a bonus. Good, all good.
But that is a point. Right now, that's $10 a day,
Yeah.
$50 seasonal, and they've been that way since 2022. So we're going into the budgeting session, so
Yep.
if there's any interest by the commission to change those, it should be discussed.
I was gonna bring that up with your report and let you, talk on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't, I heard an informal study of how we compare to other areas. I don't know if those are accurate or not. I feel like it's reasonable and
I think
in
right
both
now, we're right in
directions.
line.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we know how many tickets are written for non-payers in the summer? Is that actually enforced?
It is. The city police department enforces that.
Do you have any idea what we?
I don't.
Just curious.
I could ask.
Well,
And
I
we don't
think
receive
by,
revenue for that.
I think that with the machine being
Functional?
Updated?
functional,
Brand new.
you know, we capture more.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, it's hard to ticket people when the machine's not working.
That's fair, but I don't think that machine impacted this season because it was installed so late. But I think it will
Right.
have a positive
In the future,
effect in the future.
if it's indeed better, yes.
Yeah, they don't write tickets. Once it's down, there's communication and they don't write those tickets when it is, so.
Yeah, just curious, how much, how many,
I don't know.
not so much, I guess, what the enforcement is, but what's the compliance rate?
Is there compliance, yeah.
Yeah. That old machine, you could almost hear the dialogue go.
Yeah, I can ask the chief.
I notice when I'm in there, I usually see either stickers or the tags, so I think it's probably pretty good compliance. Does that machine, once we purchase it, is it maintained with a monthly lease or something? Or once we put it in, it's all ours to gain all the revenue?
Yeah, it's ours.
Yeah,
We purchased it outright. We pay I think it's $50 a month for
Just
the connection, the technology.
Yep.
And then, yeah, and then if it has to be serviced, then we have to pay for the service.
Sure, sure. Well, I guess if there's any questions about the upcoming season, we can work on that in the future, and that'll bring us to reports by the harbor master.
Not too much, everything's, harbor's froze. Just looking at what I discussed last time. We did receive our permits for Veterans Memorial Park from the Corps of Engineers, so we got through that, resolved their concerns. We actually have that on the city council agenda tonight for approval of a contract, a change order, a new grant from the Manistee County Community Foundation to support that project, and then a budget amendment to increase the city's match. So hopefully that moves forward. What else here? The only other thing is the River Street will be undergoing a lot of construction from Maple Street to Spruce Street this spring and summer, particularly adjacent to the marina. Between Pine and Spruce will be completely reconstructed and some reconfiguration, and that project's out for bid right now. And recently I sat down with the engineers and we looked at all the events that happen in that area throughout the summer. The two that are the most impactful is as it relates to, you know, intensive construction like that is obviously the 4th of July Forest Festival, and this year will be that Century Boat Show. And so we've created milestones in the schedule for those two events where everything needs to kind of be buttoned up and pedestrian friendly and so forth. So just making you aware of that.
New business would be the annual review of our bylaws, and we all have to give it a look at it. If there's any changes or upgrades.
Do we need a motion on the bylaw reviews?
Yeah, just to accept as presented or with changes.
I would make a motion that we accept the Manistee Harbor Commission bylaws and rules of procedure as presented.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Then we'll have a review of our strategic plan for the Harbor Commission. Last done in 25. The first page is just our revisions, right? Yeah.
Yeah, what revisions have been, taken
Taken place,
place,
yeah.
uh-huh.
Well, I would just suggest that the issues that we face that are listed on page 3 of that document are pretty standard, I would think. And I think we've done some good things with marketing and awareness and KD training staff and so forth. We've shown some very positive increases in our revenues versus expensive. The marina itself is no longer operating in the red. It's operating with a profit. We also will, this will be the last year of debt on the
Mortgage.
building construction.
Yeah.
So that is tremendous and could create some opportunities for us in the future. Sorry, I just thought of something else. I don't see any need to change those. I think we're pretty much doing everything else that we had recommended and what to take advantage of.
Do we need to show the need, you know, if we want to move forward with a full-time manager, again, talk about budgeting and fiscal responsibility, do we want to add something, you know, a bullet under what are some of the issues? You know, maintaining
Staffing.
staffing, you know, I hate to say your season wide, you know, for the entire season? Or is that just, because would that be a feathered or a, you know, a point that go in our favor if we need to really revisit a full-time manager and the costs associated? That is in our strategic plan. We've noted that it's an issue.
I think so, and quite frankly, if we hired a full-time manager, we're gonna have to pay more for it, right? But we're dropping off that debt, and maybe this is the time where we could begin to afford it. So I think that's something that we should discuss. But we should discuss it and come to, I mean, we have about 2 months before I have to submit my budget numbers and that whole process begins.
Right.
You know, with adoption of the budget in May. But this could be something that, if we can work on it quickly, something that we could either recommend in the budget or in the future.
When is the debt, the bond debt, or the bond, or whatever, the debt paid?
I will have to confirm with Ed, but I thought that this 2026 was the last payment.
You know, is this,
Because we had a little budget refresher or some discussion on Monday of this week, and I don't think has to put that in the next fiscal year budget.
okay.
So I think it's done before July 1st. I'll confirm that.
You know, and is that you hate to say in state or city or federal government, you know, move quickly. You know, is this something that we really, instead of pushing for this year, do we hope we get through another season with what we've got, and then, because even, you know, the applicant pool,
That,
short, but.
that's what Mary Lou and I were talking about, because I think part of the problem was, we put ads in the paper during that season after that lady left, and there really wasn't a whole lot of interest.
Right.
So, exploring, yeah, outside the area, or potentially, I mean, it'd be a great summer job.
Yeah, things have changed. I've talked about this before. When I was in college, that was my summer job.
Sure.
I worked 40 hours a week at the City Marina. It was wonderful. There's not that many kids these days that want to work a whole 40 hours.
Yeah,
We're very fortunate when we can fill all of our positions at the city garage. They get 40 hours, and we work them. But there's years where we can't fill all those positions, So, and it may have to be, we may have to increase the hourly wages to make it more competitive. But I think what the last couple of years, what Katie's done is try to hire 4 and then work them 3 to 4 days a week.
so they spread them out, and that's so,
Yeah, so you gotta hire more
Yeah.
to try to cover
Yeah.
the same amount of hours. And it's particularly tough in May, September, beginning of October. And, ideally you would have a mix of younger staff and some either retired or, teachers that have the summers off, but we haven't gotten that.
maybe once you find out that debt service and potential dollars available, in March, we could look and revisit that and have a special meeting and see if there's anything needed to move forward with that or not.
Do we have a February meeting?
No, not till April now.
The next meeting is April 21st, scheduled meeting.
Yeah, so that'll be too late to include anything in this budget. I would have to do that myself, but.
Yeah. I would add, since Wes brought that up, continuity and employment throughout the season under the facing the issues, or the issues.
And including shoulder season,
Yeah,
because that's the.
throughout the whole season, yeah.
Yeah, whole season. But I think some people think June, July, and August is our
That's
summer.
it, yeah. Technically, when is the harbor? October 1st or September 15th close?
Say that again?
When does the harbor actually officially close? 1st of October, end of September?
Usually it's the, mid-October, I believe,
Mid-October, okay, 14th, I think, something like that.
somewhere in there.
Because I know the opening is May 14th?
We don't have staff, after, pretty much after mid-September. And, so what Katie has done is, just post the phone number, she gets the calls, emails,
Yeah.
so forth, and then she'll meet them daily too. She'll give them the code over the phone for the building and then
Right.
she'll, take their credit card information and she just goes down there every day, so.
Anything else on our strategic plan?
Hang on, that is huge. That is some very good news.
Is-
That is a feather in everybody's cap.
Is there a fund that says here, work to ensure the infrastructure of the marina is well maintained and replaced when promptly? Is there like a fund for long-term maintenance or just
No,
anything?
the marina's been operating
Since
at
it's
a
been-
deficit, so there is no, fund balance,
In case we need, dock
but
repair?
there
or-
will be, we're starting to build one now.
Nice.
I mean, as far as we know, I mean, the docks are fairly new. All in the last 5 years?
6, 7,
7?
yeah. The docks are about as good as they're gonna get.
Yeah.
I did forget to mention, we did receive the pump out grant from the state, and council approved that. So I'm working with the engineers to get that out to bid, so that'll be about a $60,000 project.
Nice.
It'll be done in the spring. But it's items like that, hopefully we'll build up a fund balance,
Nice.
or we will.
Yeah, the fund balance, I mean, the docks are going to need to be redone, refurbished within the next 15, 20 years. Yeah.
Decking specifically.
Build towards that. I don't
Building
know,
maintenance.
anything else that's foreseeable, really.
We've had to put some money into the gas stock. There was some damage, a lot of it from the Princess, actually.
Yeah.
But we were able to do all that work in-house. I believe I will be putting in the capital improvement fund to replace the shore stations along the marina.
Okay.
Those are probably 20, 25 years old. And when we have issues with them, they're tough to replace. So I think upgrading those, there's always items within the building.
But we can build up a fund. We have the mechanism for
Yeah.
that. Great.
It looks like most of these needs have all been met, like the DACWA and that, what was the other one, that Great Lakes Touring or Great Lakes Loop Association with the marketing and identifying loss, early and late season use. I know in my term here, it's come a ways.
Under your leadership.
Well, thank you, Tom. Anything else? Other strategic plan.
So we just had that one suggested addition.
Yep, continuity of staffing throughout the season.
I'll make a motion that we approve the annual strategic plan with the one addition.
Second that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Has everyone had a chance to look at their name and contact on the roster? Is everything up to date and current? Or same thing?
And I don't need we don't need a motion on this, I just need you guys to update.
Yeah, make sure we're all contacted.
Mine looks good.
Good to me.
Mine's good.
I'm good.
Yep. Good. Do we have any more public comments? No one has entered the room. And comments by commissioners. Michael?
No, none today, sir.
Tom?
I'm just glad to see these numbers for end of season. And have we been presented with that from the marina itself this year?
No.
Look forward to that.
Wes?
It just looks like it's been a great season and good commission and a lot of really cool things on the horizon. It's going to be an exciting few years, I think, with our little diamond, not in the rough, the diamond that hopefully not everybody knows about yet.
The harbor's growing with the rest of the area, and it's anemones and activities and things. It's all molding into place, so to speak.
I think when that space along River Street next to the marina, I mean, it was intended as an event space when the current streetscape was done in 99, 2000. I think the improvements that'll happen this year
Open it up more.
will really change it.
Nice.
And I see a lot more activity down there. It's gonna be neat.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Exciting projects.
But I think you're right, George. I think we're seeing these numbers grow as the rest of the community is invested in and grows, and Manistee Tourism seems to be doing more marketing than I've ever seen, and I think are just reaching a broader audience. And you guys know, once people come here, they love it,
Oh, yeah.
and they come back. So
Number one beach.
yeah.
2 years in a row.
I guess with that, we can take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
There we go. All in favor?
Aye.